Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? Great. Thank you for joining. So I'll just wait a minute or two before we get going, so we see that most of the guys that has been signed up are coming in. So 1 second, and we will get going. And I hope you can see my shared screen as well, and that we in the chat room have some colleagues from Paliscope at least to help answer some questions if I don't have the time to answer them directly in this webinar. So in the meantime, I'll just go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Lovisa. I work here at Paliscope in the business development area. And really happy to be here today to give you a bit of a crash course really in Paliscope. I'm going to try to show you really from the start the basics of what Paliscope can do, and then we will move further from there. So let's get going. So Paliscope is a pretty recently started company. We've been around for almost a year. Paliscope is really built around the notion of helping investigators with online investigations, helping you guys to more easily and faster collect, discover, and report out your investigations online. And we started on this journey because we saw that there was so much to do here. Internet is constantly changing, as you know, and we saw that there was really no tool that could help in terms of saving time and in terms of securing data and intelligence for you. So I'm actually in our website here. I didn't want to show you any slides. I'll just show you this, and then we'll get going into the software. So Paliscope is an online investigations tool. It's an app that you download pretty easily from our website. And it's built as an integrated web browser based on Chromium. The whole purpose with Paliscope is really to help you collect information easy, secure the information, and report out in the end. And we will get going so I can show you what I mean. So this is Paliscope. As I said, it's an integrated browser that pretty much resembles what you are used to see when going online. The only difference is that around your browser, you have a number of tools available that you can use in your investigations. So on your left-hand side in this menu, you have what we call cards. So this is really buckets where you can start to sort in the information that you are gathering online. So we have buckets like events, persons, objects, locations, and virtual locations. Beneath that, we have all your collected media. So we have the web pages that you are collecting, images, and we will soon also launch video here. At the very bottom, we have an audit trail. I won't go into detail about that now because it makes more sense after we've collected a bit of an information. But the audit trail really helps you keep a a timeline and to keep your information in order. And it logs everything that you are doing in Paliscope. It does keep a log for you, so you can go back in time and see when did I collect what information and what happened in my case. On the right-hand side, I'll just pop that out. You have two menus. One is the to-do menu, where you can add your to-dos in your case. Could be very handy if you're working together with a colleague in a case and you're sharing that case between you, where you might want to add to-do lists and stuff that you didn't have time to do, but you want to share that with your colleague. You also have a drop-down of tools that you can use that is easily accessible, OSINT tools. We are doing quite some updates here planned for this year, but I'll show you how it works. I'm going to pop that in again. So on the top bar here, you can see My Paliscope, Cases, Collect and Report. And starting from the left-hand side in My Paliscope, this is really our user forum. I won't go through that too much today, but this is where you can add feature requests, you can add your support questions that you might have, and stuff like that. Cases is your overview of all the cases that you're working with. So today we are going to work with the demo case webinar, but this is really where you can keep track of all the cases you have ongoing. You can export and import cases into here. But basically, Paliscope has two main modes. The first mode is collect, and that's where you build your case. So Paliscope really works as a workspace for you, where you can build up your case. And then you have the report button. I will show you that when we have some information ready to be actually reported upon. But it's basically a report engine that constantly keeps your investigation up to date, so you can export that to a manager or whoever you need to share your case with. So I can see that Klaus is in the chat room answering your questions as good as he can on the languages that he can. But let's start the case. As you can see in the web browser, what is, at least in my perspective, a bit different from ordinary browsers like Chrome and Firefox is that we're keeping the tabs vertically. And this is really to help you guys keep track of all the tabs you have in your case. We're working very closely with investigators. And what we've heard from them is that typically you have so many tabs open in the case at the same time. So in this way, having them vertically helps you see what's actually in the tab, and you can keep track of your information and the places you have been visiting. But let's go ahead and start the case. So the purpose of today will be to use online tools and try to figure out who are the persons in this image. We'll focus on this guy here, and where are they, and how are they connected, and what more can we find about them. And of course, I think as Julian is commenting here, some of you guys know them. We know them as well. This is our CEO and a few of his colleagues, but I will show you how we can use tools integrated into Paliscope to find out who these guys are. All right. So when visiting any website, in this case, Paliscope's website, we have a few different view modes in the browser. As you can see here on the right-hand side, where I'm showing you, we have we're currently in the view mode standard. But you can also switch into a view mode that we call smart images. And smart images will show you all the pictures that are in the website as thumbnails. But the really neat thing here is also that it will show you if there's any EXIF information available in the image, such as, I can show you here an example. Let's open one. I can open this, each image very easily to show you the EXIF data available. And it will show you things like the hashes available in the image, any type of information about software that has been used for this particular image, how big it is, the image type, etc. And as you can see here with the small icon on this image, a small GPS icon, that shows you that within this image there is a GPS location embedded. And not only does Paliscope show you the actual GPS latitude and longitude, it also shows you a small visualization of where this GPS location is. In this image here on the lower side, you can see a small hash icon, and that means there is a camera serial number available, as you can see here as well. And I'll show you how we can work with some integrated services and find more information about these. The final view mode is source code. I won't go into that now, but I can show you later how it could be used. But we want to collect these images into our case and start to build up our case. And this can be done in many different ways. The easiest way, I think, this is personal preference. The easiest way for me is just to drag and drop the image into my collected data bucket here. And as you can see, oh, I'll try to enlarge that so that disappears. As you can see here, a green pop-up appeared, and it shows me that the image was successfully collected. I'll continue and add another image. I can also right-click on the image and collect it. And I guess it's a bit of a personal preference if you're a Windows or Mac user, etc. So now I have collected the image, and it pops up here in my image bucket. And I can see all the images, I can inspect them and get all the information that I showed you before in the image inspector. And I get a good overview here. So let's start to map up our case and build our case for the purpose that we have here today. So we have a number of people in the image. We can start to map out these people. So what I'm doing then is I'm going to persons card, and I'm creating a persons card. But I don't know who these people are already, so I will just call them person 1, person 2, etc. And within a person card, you can go ahead and add as much information as you like, really. You can say whether or not this person is, a suspect or a victim. You can add a description, a general one, but you can also add person data. So name, address, email address, or stuff that are important to your investigation. One big part of this card is also the connected to part. And this, I think, is really useful because you can use this part to connect persons to each other, but also to events and objects and locations. So we begin to map up 2 people, and let's connect them to each other because we know they are connected. We also know that we have a location. So these guys are at some place, but we don't know where it is yet. So let's add a location card. It's pretty much straightforward here. Unknown location, maybe. No particular objects in this case, but we might have an event, a gathering event or some sort. And we can connect these events to the persons like this and to the location, as you can see here. In the same way, I will go ahead and connect the persons to the unknown location as well. So in this way, when you have a large investigations, you can start to build out connections and start to visualize who is connected with who and where have they been, etc. Another neat feature is that you can connect the images to the different cards. So for example, I have this person who I might want to connect to person 1 card. I have this person who I'm going to connect to person 2. And this image I might connect to the both of them since it's related to both. I will connect the image of the location to the unknown location here as well. And going back to the card, just to show you how this is visualized, the images pop up here in the far end of the card. One thing that is easy, I think, when using Paliscope is to actually try to add display images. It helps to keep track of the people you're working with. So I just easily went ahead and updated the display image from the image that I have collected. The same with the location maybe could be good. The event maybe as well. Okay, so now we have done the first part of mapping up our case into the different cards. So trying to get a bit of a structure here. What I haven't done is I haven't worked with any to-dos. I can, of course, do this, run a face recognition search on the suspects. So I can keep track of what I'm doing. So now that I have collected a bit of information, I can go in and show you how the audit trail looks like. So here you have the audit trail. You can see everything that I have done, my user, being date stamped here, keeping track of everything I did using an external time server. You can also go into each event logged here and look at more information about that certain event. So what are the hash values for the images I have collected? What was the URL where I collected them, etc. So let's close that and let's go to my to-do. I wanted to do a face recognition search on as a start. Since I have images, this can be a good way to start. So I'll start with this guy. And I'll mark both of the images where I can see him in. Now, the smaller images is actually, in this time around, a crop from the larger one. But if you have multitude of images, just go ahead and mark the ones that you think are for the same person, and it will help the face recognition algorithm to find the person. So the face finder that we have integrated in Paliscope is from a company called Pimice, a Polish company. And they're using Google technology for face recognition and calculating a face vector that are being sent to Pimice servers. So Pimice basically crawls and creates a searchable database for faces on both the ClearNet and the darknet. And they have around, I think, 150 million faces already, and they are a pretty newly started company, so they are searching faces all the time. But let's mark the faces that we want to search for. And click Find Faces. Doing some work here. I'll put that down here. So now we have used PMIs to run a face recognition search on Christian. The image has actually not left my computer, but it's only the hash value that has been sent to PMIs to go and search online for the similar faces. And this hash value can be calculated either on your local site or here in Paliscope. So we find a few hits that seems to be the right guy. I can, if I want to, check what data sets I want to search for here. I'll do the main data set, but you can also search, as I said, on other networks like Tor and other suspicious sites. What is really beneficial with PMIs as well is that they are very, since they're a small company, just as we are, they're really listening to their users. So if you have ideas and thoughts of where it could be really valuable to have PMIs doing an indexing of faces online, please let us know and we'll pass that on to them. But for the sake of this demo, I will use the information that I found here. And to collect this information, I can do this in multitude ways. Here on the right-hand side, you can see a small camera icon. You can either collect the whole web page or take a partial screenshot. If you collect the whole web page, you do save more information, like the images in the web page and the full code of the web page as well. I will just do a partial screenshot here, like this, to save what I've found. And as you can see, the screenshot was successfully captured, and I can go and look at it here on my collected web pages. And it says here, this was a partial screenshot. It says when I added it and if I had attached it to anything. I'll go ahead and attach it directly to the guy that I am researching. And then I'll jump into my result and see what I can find out more. So I come to this website here for Virtual Global Task Force, and scrolling down a bit, I hope I can find, yep, our guy. So this is, as I said in the beginning, this is our CEO, yeah, a quite official guy, but I will use this information and start to map out some more about the person. So I know this guy was Mr. Christian Berg. I'll rename him. I can also, if I want to, drag and drop information into Paliscope. So you can, of course, depends on your preference, if you want to copy paste, if you want to right click and add the information into a card, or if you want to drag and drop it. Oops. So I dragged and dropped NetClean into the card here, and I can add this as a data point to Christian's card. So NetClean, and I can continue to add a lot of information that I find here. And as you can see, if I scroll down here, you can also see that the collected data that I took, the web page, is saved here in the card. I'll go ahead and collect the whole web page here as well, because I want to save that to the card. What we're doing now is that we are scrolling down to the end of the web page, or if it's a never-ending web page, we will scroll down as far as you have scrolled and creating an image. So let's go and have a look at that image so I can show you what we are doing. Here you have the full screenshot, and you can follow it all the way down to as far as at least I had scrolled here, and find the information here as well about Christian. Again, I will attach that to Christian Berg and make sure each information is attached to the right person. So I know Christian Berg now. Let's add his name as well. So we have that categorized. Typically, I'd want to go in and look at his Facebook profile now. So I can go down here and see some tools that we have a quick link to. And let's see if I can find his account. I can choose a person from the card here. And as far as I only have Christian Berg now, I will choose him and his name will pop up and I can press go. This does require that you are logged into your preferred account that you're using when you're doing investigations. Right now, we are using our Paliscope undercover account that is actually also called Christian. So don't be fooled. But it's basically, you have to be logged in to do this. But here we find a guy that looks pretty much as the guy we are researching. Let's go into his account. Yeah, looks like him. We can add some more images if we want to. But we want to find out more about him and more about the persons in the image. So going back to the image here about the gathering. So one thing that existed in this image is actually a date stamp of when this image supposedly was created. So it was created in October 2015. So let's scroll down and see if something happened in 2015 that can connect Christian to the guys around him. Obviously, this can be very time-consuming scrolling. Luckily, Facebook provides us with some good tools. So let's scroll down to 2015 and October. Yes, Oktoberfest. So around October, this is around the same date as the picture was taken. Some beautiful Swedish archipelago, I think. So typically, friends like each other's images. These guys definitely look happy and looks like they are friends. We can go into the liked here and start to research the guys that are actually liking his image. And after some researching, going back and forth into these profiles, I won't do that today, but you see the point. We can go in and look at the people. So we find a guy that looks pretty much like one of the guys here in our image, the guy in the back, a happy one, called Guillermo Galarza, and we'll collect that image and rename our person number 2, Guillermo Galarza, as such. One thing you can do as well in, as we talked about before, the different source or the different view modes, you can go into source code, which can be, as many of you probably know, very valuable for finding the profile ID of the person. So I basically just pressed search here, Command F, and entered profile ID. What it does is that it finds the unique ID, Facebook ID of that person. And I can go ahead and add that as a person data to Christian. And what I think is pretty neat is that in the in the services that we have here on the right-hand side, I can, for example, directly check who is Christian Berg's co-workers, for example. So picking up his user ID, click and go, and it will show me a list of people who are working at the same place, or at least saying that they're working in the same place as Christian Berg. So that could be a valuable way of using the source view mode. Then what I wanted to do is typically I want to use some operators and search for these guys. I'll search for Christian Berg, not Christian Bale, unfortunately, for you. And Guillermo, let's see if I can get this right. And this gives me quite some hits of these two guys. There's a PDF. There's a lot of information here that I can collect from ourselves as well, teaming up with ICMEC. And of course, Guillermo Galasa is a key part of ICMEC and a key partner of ours as well. But let's say this was something that we want to collect evidence about, and take a partial screenshot and connect that to Guillermo. There we go. Now, what's still left to do is to try to figure out, of course, who the rest of the guys are. This will take a bit too long for this webinar, unfortunately, today. But we also have this location here that we want to find out. And from just viewing the image, we can see that there is a GPS coordinate embedded here. We can see that it's close to a place called Wiesbaden. But if we wanted to research this further, we can use one of Paliscope's integrated tools, camera forensics, and press this search button on the right-hand side of the GPS GPS coordinates here. So let's press search here and look at camera forensics. So camera forensics is indexing internet for imagery and creating a searchable database for EXIF data. So I find nothing on camera identification, of course, duplicates and metadata matches, but I had the location. So I'll press that button and go directly into my findings in camera forensics. So what camera forensics does is here it shows you more images that was taken in the same area as the GPS coordinate that I had. And I can go ahead and look at these images and try to see, does this look like the same place as where my image was taken, and start to collect more information here. So a lot of the data comes from Flickr here, and I saw today that they had some issues. But for example, we can go into yeah, you can go into each of the links here, typically, not today for Flickr, but any other day, and collect the imagery that you're seeing from there as well. So now we've looked at PIMICE and camera forensics. And we have started to map up our case. We've started to map up some people. We still have some more to go if we had more time. We have a location that is not unknown anymore. It is probably Wiesbaden. And we have some camera forensics details that we might want to screenshot from that GPS coordinate. And let's link that to our actual location. Here we go. So that's some basics of Paliscope. And let's go into the report mode so I can show you how we can generate a report out of this. When we're doing a report, you can, maybe you've noticed that there is a small little icon on the side of each card that says not included in report. But if I press this button here, I can choose to manually include it in a report. So this is valuable if you have a large case where only certain pieces of the information is maybe valuable to report out on. So then I will choose the actual data that I want to include in my report. I can, in the similar way, choose what images I want to include in my report. Maybe this one wasn't so valuable for the case. Let's include those. And I can, in the same way, choose what web pages I want to include in the report. And I will then switch from the collect mode to report mode up in the right-hand corner. And as I said, we can choose if we want to include everything or just the selected items. Right now we have 2 cards, 4 web pages, and 6 images. I can add a standard web header image if I have one in my organization that I want to add. Report title, case name, etc. I can also add a cover page however I wanted, some free text here, summarizing my case or however you want to set that up. Maybe some content or methodology of how you went about with your case. I'll skip that for now. Any conclusions that you want to share, and then just press create. And the report is created in an HTML format, but can also be exported to PDF. And of course, you can export the HTML as well. It does give you a really good overview of your case. So it shows you the case cards, the people that has been involved in your case, who they are connected to, any type of person data that you added to the person. It shows you the collected data, any images that you had in relation to that person. And in the same way here with Guillermo, you can go directly down to collected data and look at the web pages, the images, etc. So I can now export this to PDF or HTML if I want to, and share that. A demo case, yeah. And this will take the report and put that into a nice format and crop the images in a nice way so you can present it. And the, wait. This one. Just wanted to show you the actual PDF report. It looks like this when you've exported it. I don't have that much information in this case, but you would typically have your summary here. You have your table of contents. You have the person cards nicely presented after one another, and the images and all of the information that you have in your case here, including URLs of where the images were collected, when they were collected, the original screenshot hash, etc. So let's go back to Paliscope. A feature that we are launching just now is export import that we have launched. Helps you share cases with colleagues. So I want to just show you how that works. I'm going back to cases. And I'm going to import a case from a colleague. I'm going to this small free button here, 3-dot button here on the right-hand side. I'm going to click that and select import case. I'm going to go to our Paliscope team site and select the case. Yes, I already had that before, but my colleague has been working on it, so I'll go ahead and import and replace the case that I have. There we go. The case is here. Let me go in and look at that case, and I'll show you. Oh, no. So in this case, my colleague has been very nice and kind to add some crocodile images. And what is really neat here is that the audit trail will log who has collected the information. So what user has been working on the case. So as you can see in the beginning, I was working on the case here. You can see my name. And then afterwards, Klaus, my colleague, took over and did some work on the case. And now I am back again and I have imported the case and I will keep on working on that. So that could be really neat when working with colleagues on the cases. So I'm quickly going to talk about 2 integrated services that we have additionally to camera forensics and PIMICE. One of them is Project Arachnid. And Project Arachnid is run by the Canadian Centre for Child Protection. And they're basically crawling the internet to find previously reported images of child sexual abuse, hashes, and creating a database where you can query, or where we can query different images and see has Project Arachnid seen this image before. So as you can see on this fake child sexual abuse image, a small little spider pops up, and that means a result has been found on Project Arachnid. And if I want to go and view that result, I won't go into it here today, but I can just click this button here and have a look at the result that Project Arachnid has for me. And that could mean that I'm finding more images from the same series. It could mean I find more clues about what is in the image or who created the image, which could be really valuable. The other final service that we have integrated with is WebIQ. So say that I had a person with an alias I wanted to check up. I could use WebIQ's services. Who are crawling the darknet and internet to make it searchable for foremost for text. So you could search for aliases or email addresses on illegal forums, etc., that are being indexed by WebIQ. And I can have a look at the results here. I won't do that today, but it will show me all of the results from WebIQ, and I can go ahead and research that further. All of the integrated services that we have in Paliscope can be managed from the right-hand side here in the settings menu. So if I just pop that up, I'll show you what I mean. So you have external services here. You can add if you have yourself a camera forensics license, and you can add or you can check in if you want these services to be automatically queried or if you want to manually do it yourself. Depends on how your organization prefers to do it, but it could be good to know. And with that, I think we have gone through the majority of Paliscope's features today. We are working very closely with many investigators out there, both from law enforcement and private sector, to improve our product. And we have a long list of roadmap items that we want to take in here. So I just want to make sure you guys know that we're really eager to listen to you. So if you have ideas of features after you use the software for a while, please don't be shy. Reach out to us. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you lack, and we will try to make sure to prioritize accordingly. Anything we do is really focusing on trying to help you guys save time or find unique intelligence online. You can, of course, find out more about us on our website, and you can download our software really easily here. And you can find anything about the product, the pricing, about us as the team, any resources. So if you have colleagues missing a webinar or you want to see some more tutorial videos, this is the place to go. And of course, also contact to us. And with that, I'll say thank you very much. Thank you for joining and listening. Don't hesitate to reach out to us. I'll add my email in the chat so you have it. Let me know if you have questions, if there was something I went through a bit too quickly, if you want to see some parts of the software more in detail. Yes, so the question with downloading videos, not yet, but it's our next roadmap item that the team is working frenetically upon as we speak in the room next to me here. So to be able to do screen recordings and to be able to transcribe the screen recordings is what we're working on right now. And I was trying to answer Marcio here. I didn't mention, but I can quickly mention that all of the data that you collect in Paliscope is stored locally on your computer. So nothing is leaked out from your local computer. So the data is safe with you. Could be good to know. Also, each case has a different cache. So whenever you start up a new case, you're going to have to go through the cumbersome effort of logging into your accounts. But on the other hand, none of the cookie data will be leaked from one case to another, which is also, I think, really valuable when doing online investigations. How can we talk about integrating as a source with Paliscope? Reach out to me. I think I added my email, on a few lines up. Reach out to me if you have a service you want to integrate with us. We're happy to talk and happy to find new partners. One thing that we are looking towards is creating a more open API to make it easier to connect services to Paliscope in the future. Not there yet, though. So just reach out and let's talk about it. So I have two questions here. Does your inbuilt Chromium browser allow for external extensions? Not at the moment. Let us know what you would like. So please don't hesitate to let us know what you would like in the browser, and we can have a look at it, but not at the moment, no. Yes, so Lindsay, in regards to your question, what you can do is if you have an image with a hash value to it, you will automatically query Project Arachnid's database of hashes and find results in their database if they have seen this image before and where they have seen it. So that will give you a long list of websites to go further into and research where the image has been seen before. Sometimes, because Project Arachnid does ask the hosts to take down the website, so sometimes the website has already been taken down, but oftentimes that's not the case as well. So you can use that to find more information, yes. So with regards to the Chrome update, I assume we are updating as Chrome are updating, but I have to double check with my team with regards to what they are updating and at what time. Okay, yeah, I think Klaus answered you. Yes, Klaus is helping here. Depends on what you mean with bookmark scripts. So the cost of adding WebIQ in the standard edition, you can go into pricing and see. I'll do that for you as well. So WebIQ is only available for law enforcement. Law enforcement, we provide two versions. A thinner version of the product is called Core. It's available for free for law enforcement. But the WebIQ services are only available on Pro. And if you buy them together with all the other integrated services, it's sums up to a cost of $279 on top of the $629. If you only want to buy the WebIQ part, additionally to the Pro, it's $149 for that. One important note is that the WebIQ databases that are included for this very low price is only the ones that are related to child abuse forums. So WebIQ provides a full host of different data sets targeting different use cases, everything from darknet markets to child abuse forums. And for this price, it's only the child abuse forums. But if you're interested in the full set, let us know. We have a number of users that are interested in that and that are wanting to try that as well. So just reach out to us and we'll make that happen if you want to try that out. Yes, so you can include media manually and not just collect it from internet. I didn't show you that, I should have. But if you go into images here, you have the option to upload an image that you have stored locally. And you can do it that way if you want to. Another thing that could be good to show that I didn't was reverse image search. So if you have an image collected, you can go in and directly in Paliscope do reverse image search without having to go to the actual sites, upload the image and do it from there. So it's this little button on the top. It says Bing reverse image search, Google and Yandex. So far, I think our results has been that Bing is really one of the best right now. So if we do a Bing search here, on the right-hand side, you can see pops up some results. You can crop the image as you want it. Maybe it's a certain part of the image that you're interested in. And Bing will show other sites online where this image or similar images has been posted. So BizIQ could definitely be something that we could integrate with WebIQ in regards to. Just, Dwayne, it would be really interesting to know your use case and learn a little bit more about that. So please reach out to us and we can discuss more how that use case could look like and what you're using BizIQ for today. But yes, that could definitely be a thing that we are integrating from them. Many interesting questions. Keep them coming. So again, if you have any more questions, reach out to us. And if you and your team would need a further deep dive into Paliscope together with one of us, don't hesitate to reach out and ask for a demo. We're happy to do so. We're based in Sweden, but we typically can Skype with you guys if you're not based here. So just let us know, and we'll give you a ring and see how we can help you guys evaluate the product further. There is a free version trial of the software with all the services that I've showed you now available for 30 days for free for all law enforcement officers. There is also a free version for all other non-law enforcement officers, and that version will not include the additional services that I've showed today, but it will include the rest of the software. One additional final thing, there's so many features here. One additional final thing that I can show you is, of course, that you can work in parallel, both in ClearNet and the dark web. So anything you can do in ClearNet, you can also do on the dark web in Paliscope. And I think our time is up. Thank you for joining, and I hope to see you on the next webinar. Please try the product, let us know what you think, and have a nice rest of the week. Bye-bye. And I can see there's a language that I can't read in the chat. And we have our partner VH Group in Argentina and South America. So that could be a contact to reach out to if you want a demo in your language, in Spanish Thank you. Bye-bye.